Right, hello, welcome back to the Toolbox. Today it is Paul's turn. Now this is super exciting for me because not only is Paul one of the participants in the Toolbox sessions this year, he's also a YouTuber. So he has his own YouTube channel, which is for his business, and he has a golf one as well. It's called Happy Me Golf. I'll leave it in the description below. We've already done a podcast, myself and Paul, like an introducing one, both myself and him. So make sure you go and check those out before you watch the rest of this video. But yeah, super excited to get stuck in and help Paul with his golf this year. So let's get into it. Right, so first part of this video, Paul had a lesson which was uploaded online a couple of months ago. I'll put a couple of clips of that lesson here as I'm talking, because I can do that now, I've got a green screen, you see. The main things that we took from this lesson was that Paul had a really open, twisted club face to start with, and then he made compensations in his swing to compensate for how much the club face was open and lofted. Since making those changes, Paul says he's still got some inconsistencies in his ball flight, so he's now, whereas before it was a really high, weak, slicey, fadey type shot, he's now got a bit of a two-way miss going off, but he's said that distance has improved, he's hitting it a lot further, so starting to control his loft a bit better, but is just seeing the inconsistencies with the face. So we will get cracked on with those ideas today. We'll head outside, we'll have a look at that. And yeah, with Paul, it's going to be a case of carrying on the work that he's done before, but kind of mixing it up and adding some new ideas in along the way to help improve that consistency as well. Let's head outside, let's speak about some swing ideas that's going to bring a bit more consistency to Paul's game. Right then, mate, so it seems to me like the changes that you've made have been really beneficial. It seems as though you've took your club face control from a place where it was uncontrollable. The swings that I noticed that you had at the start of the lesson that you sent me were really like twisted open. You said you were losing a lot of distance because there were too much loft at impact, which was certainly the case. The work that you've done, we're now seeing that club face in a lot more controllable position. I think the reason why you're still seeing some inconsistencies is because we're not quite sure how to cope with these new conditions. So one thing that I want you to do, keep the stronger twisted club face in, because I really like that. That's one of the things that I like most about the change that you've put in. But what I want to see you doing, so that we're not having the two-way miss anymore, I want you to develop like more of a fadey type shot. The reason why I want it to be a fade more than a draw is because I think a fade is a bit more controllable. I wouldn't have wanted you beforehand with your club face conditions to hit a fade, because we see it not go very far, we see it become very uncontrollable. But now you've got that stronger loft and you're hitting it a lot further. I want to see a bit more control over your ball flight. That's why we're going down the fade route. So drill for you. I want you to take it to a position like last quarter or even top of your backswing. Make sure that we've got that new twist in the club head. So i.e. when it's at the top of the backswing, we want to see loft pointed more towards the sky and not out in that direction. So that's a stronger lofted position at that point. At this point, we want to see it more twisted down. But from this position, I want to see you trying it a couple of fades. So club might want to move more in this direction, kind of out to him. Feel as though you're holding that face open a bit longer, like Ryan, I do believe the chap's name was, who we had the lesson with before. And just feel as though we're hitting some stronger flighted fades now. The sooner that you get this kind of nailed and you can kind of get it down to one ball flight as opposed to, you know, kind of hooks and pulls and still the occasional fade, I think that's where we're going to see a bit more consistency out on the golf course. So keeping that new twisting of club face being more down to the ground, closed, less lofted, but from there moving that club in a direction that's still going to get us to hit a fade. And when it comes to that release, keeping that face open a bit longer. The main thing that you did in that lesson, what I noticed, was that you've gone from taking a face that was open to then having to close it a lot at impact. We're going to kind of flip reverse that now, so we want to see it closed and then keeping open and a lot more stable that way through. So same again, twist it down to ground, but then trying it a fade. So that's one checkpoint. That's another from there, trying to hit a fade. Cool, give that a go. Let me know how you get on. I'm going to go back inside now because it's quite cold. Right, so that was the swing stuff. Now, having spoke to Paul, this might not necessarily be our priority when it comes to getting back on the golf course. Few things that we need to look at more in depth. There certainly is course management by the things that he's been telling me. We need to look at a short game. So in the meantime, Paul, if you've got any short game clips, if you want to film yourself chipping and want to send it over to us, I can certainly have a look at those for you. We will be using the TaylorMade MyRound Pro when it comes to getting back onto the golf course as well. So the use of statistics is really going to help us look at which parts of the game we need to nail down and focus on more than others. And we'll probably have a tap into the mental side as well when we're thinking about course management and attitude and how it's affecting how you're scoring out on the golf course. So yeah, a few ideas for you to go at there, mate. So you guys at home, if you've liked this video, do the usuals, like, share, subscribe. If you've not yet watched the podcast with me and Paul, make sure you go and do so. It's the Happy Me Golf Podcast. All the information will be in the description below, so make sure you're clicking on those links. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me today. So until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay inside. Cheers.